All right, let's just jump right into it. Today, we're going to break down a tactical guide for dealing with some of the most dangerously manipulative people you could ever meet. This is all based on the work of behavioral expert Chase Hughes, and you're going to learn how to completely shut them down.
And we have to start with this really chilling idea. Hughes warns that these people, they look at your empathy, your compassion, not as a strength, but as their absolute favorite weapon to use against you. And this isn't some far-off theory, it's a very real threat to your well-being.
So here's the first big problem. The core of the issue is their incredible, almost supernatural ability to just hide in plain sight.
And how good is their camouflage, you ask? Well, it's pretty staggering. Think about this. According to the research, you could put the world's 50 best behavior profilers in one room, and they would be wrong 99% of the time in trying to spot the psychopath. They are that good at blending in.
So how do they do it? Well, it's a performance. They will literally stand in front of a mirror and practice what a sad face looks like, what grief looks like, not because they feel any of it, but so they know how to fake it when they need to. Behind that mask, there's just a total void of empathy. Okay, so if they're acting as that convincing, how in the world can we possibly spot them? The answer? Well, it's not in our logical brain. It's in a much deeper, more primitive part of us that often knows when something is just off. Our instincts.
And that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, if the top experts on the planet can't spot them, what chance do we have? Well, it turns out your ancient ancestral brain has a kind of built-in detection system. And here's how you can finally learn to listen to it.
So Chase Hughes gives us two really simple gut check tests. The first one he calls the dopamine crash. Just ask yourself, after you talk to this person, do you suddenly feel completely drained? Like empty? That's your gut screaming a warning at you. The second is the mirror test. Watch their face really closely. Do they instantly mirror your smile? Or is there this weird delayed reaction? That little lag, that's a crack in the mask. Let's dig into that mirror test a little more. See, normal people, we subconsciously mirror each other's expressions. It's just how we connect. But a psychopath has to do this manually. They have to think about it. So you got to watch for the glitches, sometimes a complete lack of reaction, or a smile that's just a little too late, or an expression that feels totally wrong for the moment. These are the seconds where the mask slips.
Okay, so let's say your gut is telling you something's wrong. You've identified a potential threat. What do you do now? This is where most people make a huge and, honestly, a dangerous mistake.
The absolute worst thing you can possibly do is get into a battle of wills. The second you start thinking about who's on top, who's being dominated, or who's winning this conversation, you've already lost. That is the exact game they want you to play, and trust me, they are grandmasters at it.
The winning strategy is going to feel totally counterintuitive. You're not trying to win the power struggle. You're just refusing to even play the game. By being the calmest, most non-reactive person, you literally starve them of the emotional fuel they need to operate. You make yourself a completely worthless target. Your composure is your superpower here. When they say something absolutely outrageous or shocking, and they will, you cannot let your eyebrows go up in surprise. You can't show fear, you can't show anger. You just look at them with a totally flat expression and say something disarming like, "Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense." You have to become completely and utterly unbothered.
So, let's get into the why. Why is this so devastatingly effective? It all comes down to understanding what this predator is actually hunting for. This right here, this is the entire game in one sentence. You have to think of them as emotional vampires. They are prodding you, poking you for one reason and one reason only, to get a rise out of you. Your reaction, any reaction, is their reward. That's the dopamine hit they're looking for. And when you give them nothing, you starve them. And this analogy from Hughes is just perfect. Think of yourself as a fishing spot. If a fisherman keeps casting their line into your water and gets nothing, not even a nibble, day after day, eventually they're going to stop coming back. By showing zero reaction, you're basically telling them, hey, there are no fish here. They'll have no choice but to move on and find an easier target. And really, this is what it all boils down to. True power in these toxic situations doesn't come from being the loudest person or the most aggressive. It comes from being the calmest, most non-reactive person in the room. Real control is shown through composure. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with this one thought. The next time you're in a tense meeting or a difficult family conversation, just look around the room. It's not always the person doing all the talking who holds the power. More often than not, it's the one who is the most composed.
So ask yourself, in any room, who is really in charge?